your first time killing a deer, it's really something you'll never be able to replicate. When we were 10, 11 years old, you couldn't start hunting until you were 12. And you'd watch your uncles and your cousins and your dad and your grandpa go hunting, and then finally it's your turn. When you take that first deer, it's like, hey, you know, like, you're becoming a man. You really can never, until you experience it, you can't put into words and describe what it's like and what those feelings are. All right, Eli, you know where we're going tonight? This is the same plot where I shot my biggest buck ever. So I don't want you accusing me of taking you to the gar hole, all right? How many kids have I taken hunting? Honestly, I'd have to sit down and start counting. It's been a lot. For me personally, it's in the 20s now, I would guess. But for me, what I don't ever want to lose track of is the importance of seeing the next generation, right? Seeing kids, and obviously it's not like it used to be where everybody hunted, right? And I can't tell you how many people I talk to, well, my kid's kind of interested, but we don't hunt. So I've just taken it as a personal challenge that when I'm dead and gone, that there's gonna be about 40 or 50 guys that read my obituary and say, you know what, that dude got me my first deer. He got me my first turkey. And I think it all comes down to that first time you shot a deer, and that's what we're all trying to replicate, is that feeling. That gets me as close to that feeling, that excitement that I had as a kid. It'll never be the same. But for me to go and do that for other kids and to see that excitement, that's almost, I mean, it almost takes me back to when I was a kid. And for me to pass that down to a kid and be a part of that. So I tell kids, I take them out and I said, this is gonna be it, you know, because all the kids want to keep hunting with you and stuff. So I'm gonna take you out, we're gonna get you that first deer, that first turkey, and next year, I'm gonna take another kid. I'm gonna take another kid hunting so he can experience what you do. But for me, it's really important for so many reasons to get kids hunting. There's a very unselfish part of what I do, because I could be hunting, or I could be taking my kids or my dad hunting. So there's the unselfish part of it, right? But then there's the selfish part of it that's, I love being a part of that. I love being there with a kid, because I go back, right? I go back to when I was 14 and I got my first deer, and I want to give that to that kid, and to see that and experience that with them, man, it's just an awesome experience, not only for the kid, but for me.
Hey, look at it. Dropped her right there, bud.
You know, taking a kid hunting, a big part of that is, you know, is the rite of passage. You know, we live in a society now where everybody gets a trophy, right? With Eli and his hunt, I really approached that in a way that I wanted to immerse him in the entire experience. For me, that starts with, I do a lot of land management, food plotting, different things. You know, a lot of kids come hunt with me and there's deer everywhere, but there's a lot of work that goes into making that happen. So for me, it was important. I want Eli to experience all of it. So, you know, we took him and we worked his butt off. You know, we had him helping with the food plots, and then shooting his crossbow, making sure he was efficient at it. And hunting it's still pure, right? And to get a kid to that point where, man, you got to work a little bit. So it really is a rite of passage from a work standpoint, but then also from a manhood standpoint. I really want to immerse him in the entire experience, and we really did. He responded. He loved it. Everything that we did, I can tell the kid's definitely a hunter. I mean, there's always a lot of pressure on me whenever, because I want the kid to be successful, right? So I put a lot of work in, a lot of scouting time. So with Eli's hunt, you know, we did all the normal stuff. You know, he's efficient, he's ready to shoot. And with kids, I generally say, hey, we're gonna shoot the first deer. We're gonna shoot the first doe, buck. You know, you can't be greedy. Right away, I had a particular area, a food plot that I planned. I was getting a bunch of bucks. I said, that's where we're gonna hunt. So that was the plan, you know, and we were heading in. We got in, you know, plenty early. I was getting deer in here at 4 o'clock at night, you know, so it's like, wait, let's get in a little bit before that. So we got in good and early, and it wasn't long we started seeing deer. I know He was excited. He was 100% into it. The night just kept getting more and more interesting as it went on. It wasn't long, I could hear a deer, when they're eating, they sneeze kind of, and I could hear deer in behind us, and it wasn't long. We saw a smaller buck come through, and then I saw a really, really nice one that was the biggest one I was getting. I'm like, oh, it's game on. He worked his way down, and I thought long and hard about moving Eli, but man, these deer were just on edge. Or a couple doe that came in earlier, and they're stomping, they're trying to catch our wind. So something was up, and he bolted out. It was a heartbreaker. Because I was like, I know Eli was pumped, and when that one came through, and he had, literally 5 more yards, and we had him, and he took off, and it's kind of like, but I said, sit tight. And it wasn't long, I looked to my right, and there's a little, like, 3-point or something. All right, we got a buck, another buck, and so I know Eli was excited. You guys couldn't see him because he was off to our right, and I'm filming him and watching him, and then boom, there's another 8-point. They sparred a little bit, which was really cool, and cool for Eli to see. But again, they're hard to our right, and they end up kind of doing what that first big buck did. And of course, my scouting, they'd all come out to the left, right? I was set up perfect for Eli, and everything's coming out to the right. And a lot of people who haven't taken kids, moving a kid on a tripod and moving it, he's right-handed. It is not an easy thing to do. And initially on the first buck that came through, I didn't do that. And then when this one came through, I finally was like, all right, man, we're gonna make a move, we're gonna get this done. I had to sit him up on my lap then, because he was sitting on a chair, and we had to move him so he could shoot more to his right. One of the things in taking a young kid hunting is teaching them to take a good shot, right? Broadside, quartering away, and he comes down, and we waited, and he finally got to a point, and Eli just,
You were a pro. You did great, man. You did awesome. You did really, really well.
If I could have put a finger where to shoot, he put it right there and made a great shot.
That's a nice buck. Are you kidding me? I didn't shoot a buck like that till I was about 35. Hey, you did great, man. I'm proud of you.
He ran straight in that way. So I said, hey, we're gonna go out. We're gonna still wait half hour, 45 minutes before we go get this deer, but this deer is gonna be 70 yards, less than 100 yards for sure. He absolutely, drilled him. We get down there and we find blood right away. I'm shining the light ahead because I'm gonna see rack, and it was like 422 yards by a crow flies. I think it was about probably 500 yards. All right, you mind holding this for me? I'm gonna mark this spot. I think we're gonna back out. I finally was like, listen, something's up. We need to go watch this footage because this deer should be 100 yards away. We watched the footage and it's like, it's right there. I said, listen, we're gonna find that deer tomorrow. Especially in teaching new kids, you do everything you can morally and ethically to recover that deer. And I said, this is gonna be a good lesson. We're gonna get after it. And I said, I don't think we need it, but I'm gonna call Dog. Dog comes in, and Dog literally gets as far as we did, the night before, and then crosses the creek. And I kind of thought that was weird, because the deer, you could tell he was hurt. He didn't want to cross the creek, and crossed the creek and went over there and couldn't find it. Came back across the creek and went the other way. And I'm starting to lose hope at that point. I'm kind of like, man, what's going on? The dog came back and went back across one time, turned to the left. The tracker's like, she's on him. She's on him. And we found blood then. It's like, she is on him. And man, within 100 yards, we had Eli's deer. We went through some of the thickest, nastiest jaggers. I didn't hear that kid complain once. I've been excited to find deer, but that was definitely up there as one of the most exciting. I was to finally find his deer because I was getting nervous.
Whenever Jason rubbed blood on my cheek, it felt very rewarding because it was from the deer that I shot, and it felt, man.
I always thank the kid. I say, thanks for hunting with me. People are like, why are you thanking him? You did all the work. He took him. It's like, because he let me have that experience with him. I got to be a part of that, and I'm thankful for that. You know, so at the end of every hunt I have, the kid always is hugging me and thankful, and I appreciate that. But for me, I would say, thank you for letting me be a part of your first hunt.